A very warm welcome to a new episode of 7 Minutes of Bond Locations. I'm Martin Mulder for onthetracks007.com, and today we will look at the locations from the first Bond film that I ever saw, Moonraker. And we're going to do this in the country that still gives us samba, soccer and sugarloaf, Brazil. Samba, soccer and sugarloaf are three words undeniably connected to Brazil and its most important city, Rio de Janeiro. If you ever wondered why Brazil is the only South American country where they speak Portuguese, here's why. In the 15th century, Portugal and Spain were basically the only nations sailing the globe in an effort to discover the New World. In anticipation of what was to come, the two superpowers had already divided the world by drawing a horizontal line on the world map, above the equator. Everything north of the line would be for the Spaniards, while everything south would be for the Portuguese. And this was a problem when Columbus discovered America, which was technically just below the line, and therefore Portuguese territory. Clever as they were, the Spaniards convinced the Portuguese that a new line had to be drawn, but this time they did a vertical line. They just drew a vertical line somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, and everything west of it would be Spanish, while everything east would be Portuguese. And so the Spaniards could claim America. In 1500 though, the Portuguese navigator Pedro Álvares Cabral landed at what is now Porto Seguro and claimed the Brazilian coast for the Portuguese crown. And this was possible because that tiny corner of Brazil happened to be just west of the new territorial demarcation. So that is why Portuguese became the main language in Brazil. And here with me today to talk about his country and the Bond locations there is Claudio Rodriguez. Welcome, my friend. How are you doing and how is life in Brazil?
Oh, pretty good, I think. I'm first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity of being here. I'm thrilled and it's quite an honor for me. And so I thank you very much for this.
It's my pleasure to have you here on the show.
Oh, thank you. It's always good to talk about our beautiful Brazil.
We share a passion for Moonraker. Me, because it was the very first Bond film I saw, and you, obviously, because of the Brazilian connection. How important is James Bond in Brazil?
Well, Marking, here in Brazil, Moonraker is, of course, regarded as highly regarded among us Brazilian Bond fans. We all hold the film very close to our hearts, and we're just so proud to, have made it into a Bond movie one day. And this is quite something, at least for me, that is, I think it's huge. We travel all over the world in order to see locations from the films we all love so much. And then one day you just realize you're part of it too. I mean, you happen to live in a location that has been featured in a film series that we all cherish. I mean, this gotta be something, right?
Yeah, that's
and
incredible.
Here in Brazil, we really do have a large Bond fandom, all right. But what happens is that fans are mostly scattered all around the country. So that makes it very hard for us to combine with events like you guys do, for instance. Yeah. And since Brazil is a gigantic country, so it is a big problem for us.
Now, you visited all the Moonraker locations. Are they easy to find for a foreign location hunter?
Oh yeah, I'd say so. You can, visit all the key locations here in Rio in just one day, if you like. Though I would never recommend you doing such a thing for obvious reasons. But it is feasible. It's perfectly doable, especially if you're in a hush or something. They're actually all pretty easily accessible, and also they are somewhat close to one another. But if you're planning to visit the place where they shot the cavalcade sequence. The little portion that comes right after the ambulance sequence. Now that particular location lies somewhere around 15 miles from here. I mean, from Rio's downtown, right. Of course. So, besides being a little far off, it is not that easily accessible. So, if you plan to include that in your trip here, you better, you gotta take time for that, right?
Right.
Let's zoom in on a few of these locations. And what I find astonishing is that you managed to discover the alley downtown where Bond climbs into Drax's warehouse and where Jaws attacks Manuela. How on earth did you find that?
Well, that alley, it has taken me a lot of years to find that alley. It were literally decades of research, and after countless visits to, let's say, could have been places, I'd almost given up searching for it. But then, all of a sudden, it was just like that, just right out of the blue. It suddenly struck me that they had to be done in some alleyway here. So all I got to do is start searching for alleys in the map. And that's precisely what I did. I began searching for all the alleys around downtown area. And once I mapped them all out, I started visiting them. And then, next thing I know, one day, I happened to have found myself right in the middle of it. It's unbelievable. I can't believe it. Can you believe that?
Oh man, yeah, that's incredible. Another recent discovery is the part where 007 travels to MI6 headquarters. We first see him ride a horse through a rugged area. How was that location discovered?
Well, that was really the hardest one of them all. The hardest one ever. And I would never have done it without the help from our German friend, Thomas Gleitzman.
Right.
Now, he's the man behind all that. He is the man, indeed. He nailed it. All I did was tell the man that I was looking for that region, and I told him where I suspect it could have been done. And this guy just went ahead and, scout the locations using Google Maps or something, I don't know. And it still amazes me to this day that how could he pull that one off? I mean, the guy had never been here, right?
Right.
He never set foot in it.
He looked at the background and the mountains, and he found it on Google Street View, I believe.
All I had to do was get inside my car, go there and to check, and that was it. Yeah, it was astonishing. So hats off to Thomas Gleitzman.
We then see him ride through Mariana, a town which is actually quite far away from Rio. And then we see him arrive at the beautiful Lago de Boccario. What can you tell about that place?
Well, that place, Lago de Boccario, is really one of my favorites. It's so beautiful there.
What is it? What is it? Is it only a house or is it a park?
No, it's not a park. It's a residential area.
Right.
What happens is that the place has been neglected over the last decades, and it was a completely run down up until some years ago, when the city hall, our mayor, had finally decided to take it over and doing some construction, some renovation works to revitalize the area. And there's going to be hotels there, restaurants, so
right.
Which is pretty cool, huh? Maybe
Absolutely.
It will be restored to all its glory, maybe even more beautiful than what we see in the film now.
It's a beautiful facade and an amazing place. And another favorite location of mine is the winding road where they filmed the ambulance scene. And the funny thing is, you pointed that already out to me before, that it's actually wrong in my book. I have correct pictures, but the wrong street. And that's why I'm so happy to be talking to you right now as a Brazilian who knows his stuff. Where exactly did they film that?
Yeah, that one also was really hard to find, you know. The name of the street is Osvaldo Seabra, and it is located in a barrio called Laranjeiras. Laranjeiras is where people go to get the tramway all the way up to Corcovado in order to see the statue of Christ the Redeemer. Osvaldo Seabra is actually one of the entrances to one of our second largest favela slum, which is Favela Dona Marta. It was there in 1996 where Michael Jackson shot the clip for his song, They Don't Care About Us, and they also got a statue of him there.
The most famous location, of course, is the cable car at Sugarloaf Mountain. They did some reconstruction there, you told me. What can you tell me about it?
Yeah, well, the place has been, it has undergone some extensive construction works. So it's all been remodeled, renewed, and expanded.
Of course.
Even the cable cars themselves have been all refurbished. So
Right.
we got now newer, safer, faster models. And we got them replaced like more than 10 years ago. And both stations also have been through some massive changes. We got now, there are lots of restaurants, lots of gift shops, and even a small museum.
Right.
But you don't really have to worry about all that because all the parts we see in the film, they're still all there. They're mostly recognizable. And even the original cable car, it's all there, right there in open air, with full access, and you can go inside, take as many pictures as you want. So it's a permanent exhibit. So it's pretty exciting.
Another must-see location, of course, is located more than 1,000 kilometers from Rio, on the border of Brazil and Argentina. The mighty waterfalls of Iguazu.
What more can be said about that, except that it is a must for any bomb buff. I mean, the place is just out of this world, and it goes for both Bond fans and general public alike. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unmissable and unforgettable once you've been there. So I really recommend, for those of you who haven't been there before, who have never been there, I recommend moving it up to the first position in our bucket list. I'd like to get back there myself because it was more than almost 20 years that I've been there. So
Wow.
I really love to get back there
Yes.
sometime soon.
And how do you normally get there? Do you get there by plane? Is that
Oh, yeah.
The easiest way?
Yeah, the easiest way. Yeah, there's an airport right there. I mean, when I got there, I went by car. So,
All right.
but if I had to do this today, I would really definitely take a plane.
Right. Well, if you do it by car, how long does it take? Like 10 hours or something?
No, much more than that. But
Oh,
what happens is that I went to for Carnival in Florianopolis. It's another city. Then I spent some days there, and then I went to Curitiba, which is the capital of Paraná,
right.
the state where the cataratas is located. And from there, I went to see the cataratas, and it was like 9 hours from Curitiba, which is already in Paraná.
I'm sure you and I could talk for hours about the Moonraker locations, but we're going to leave it to this for now. So thank you so much for being on this episode.
No, thank you. It was my pleasure. It's a great honor. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
So that's it for this episode. I'm signing off from Drax Space Station. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next week. Check out onthetrucksof007.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.